Day 7 with no power in Nashville. We just got an update from Nashville Electric Service. They project our zip code will be fully restored by February 8th, which is a whole nother week of waiting for our power to be on. And honestly, at this point, I'm not even as upset about the power not being back on yet, as though that's going to make everything okay. There needs to be accountability here, because this doesn't happen without serious failure on the part of Nashville Electric Service and their leadership, or their board is appointed by the mayor, Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell. And I have some receipts on how they've messed this up. When the storm hit, Nashville Electric Service had only 200 linemen ready to service their 470,000 customers. By contrast, Middle Tennessee Electric had 467 linemen for their 230,000 customers. So NES had a third as many linemen ready per customer while servicing 28 times as many outages. They had 230,000 outages. Middle Tennessee Electric only had 8,000. Now, the CEO of NES is a woman named Teresa Broyles-Applin. She said last year that she didn't want us destroying the canopy in reference to tree trimming, and NES actually cut their budget for tree trimming by $7.5 million, a reduction of 34% in 2024. So that's $15 million over 2 years for NES that could have been going toward trimming trees. That's been the biggest thing that causes power lines to fall. Trees get full of ice, they're super heavy, they're weighed down, they fall on top of a power line, break it, poles break, etc. Meanwhile, other systems like Murfreesboro Electric have been aggressively, preemptively trimming their trees for years now, and they even did extra trimming ahead of the storm. NES has revenue of $1.4 billion annually, by the way. Now, NES did have time to have over 102 DEIAB, diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, and belonging training sessions in 2023 and 24, but they apparently don't have money to trim trees anymore. And that comes out of their ESG report, because of course. Also, in the middle of their storm response on Wednesday, January 28th, the storm hit Saturday, Sunday, they were considering whether to renew a consulting contract focused on DEI, according to an agenda from their 128 board meeting. This is while 100,000 plus were without power. In the meantime, there's been no clear communication with customers as to when they can expect their power to be back on. They have like a map online that shows you, okay, we're kind of working in this area over here, and you can find your house and see whether you have power or not, but you know whether you have power or not. If you're waiting for your power to come back on, you need to know how long it's going to be, so you know whether I need to stay put or leave and make other plans, go to a warming shelter, go find family, go to a hotel. That's what people have been doing. They've been bankrupting themselves, paying for hotels and Airbnbs and doing whatever they can to stay warm, because they're literally freezing to death inside their homes. And meanwhile, NES is just stringing this along like it's a flight delay, you know, when they're like, oh, it's delayed, we don't know, another 15 minutes, another hour, another day or two. And at the end of the night, they cancel your flight, except at this point, they've come out and told us, oh, by the way, it's not going to be for another week after you've already gone a week without power. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, Teresa Broyles now is saying she believes that power will be fully restored in Nashville within 2 weeks, which is, first of all, crazy and unacceptable. But second of all, that's not very useful or actionable information for people who have died in their freezing cold homes while waiting to know what they should do, waiting for their power to come back on, expecting maybe it's going to come back on in a few hours, maybe at worst a couple days, and now we're looking at 2 weeks. People have died, by the way. A 79-year-old woman named Betty Doss was found in her home. It was 44 degrees in her house, and this is a day after another man, 92 years old, was found in his home, and it was 47 degrees. And all the while, NES is also texting customers constantly that their power's been restored when it's wrong, and people are going on social media and posting about this. My wife received one of those texts. It's crazy. And speaking of communication, Nashville's mayor, Freddie O'Connell, has been tweeting emergency updates, posting on Blue Sky to his 400 followers, while he has over 20,000 followers on X, because he doesn't like Elon and doesn't like open discourse or something. It also only took Mayor O'Connell a day to announce a belonging fund that's supposed to fund illegal immigrants after ICE did some raids in Nashville, but it took him 4 days to announce a winter storm recovery fund after the storm hit. It also took him 4 days to announce that the National Guard was being deployed in Nashville. It took 3 days for Governor Lee to request an expedited federal disaster declaration, and it took 5 days for NES to ramp up to even having 1,100 line workers. So now, 7 days into this, my pregnant wife and I are safer here at my in-laws' house in North Georgia, in the middle of a raging snowstorm, because at least they have power, whereas my house in Nashville, where there's been no storm for several days now, there's still no power almost a week into it. Look, y'all, I've seen this movie before. My wife and I moved to Nashville from LA 3 years ago, mainly to escape government incompetence, tyranny during COVID, the mismanagement of the wildfires, homelessness, the taxes, the gas prices. I'm a refugee from those insane policies and that terrible governance, and yet in Nashville we're starting to see the same mistakes being made. Really disappointing, and I wish I would have known before I picked Davidson County. So that's a little update. I just felt like I had to get that off my chest. Thanks, guys.